Hi, I'm Josh Lee, and this is the fourth part in a series of video logs documenting the development of my game, the Puzzling Ascent. Now, I think this week's been the most frustrating week I've had by far, but I still think I accomplished quite a bit, and I'll play through what's in the game so far and break everything down for you. So straight away, I just want to stop and go through the goals I set for myself last time, because I had a pretty major goal that I didn't really accomplish this week. One of my major goals was to get some assets in, and I specifically pointed out, but I want to start getting rid of some of them grey box walls and floors and get some actual materials and textures in there. But if you look around the starting room, you can see that it's still pretty grey boxed, and that's okay. The reason I do these video logs is to hold myself accountable, because previously I've had a pretty unhealthy relationship with doing work. And the way I'm doing stuff right now is how I should have always done it, doing a reasonable amount of work every week and, working through projects bit by bit until the deadline. That helps me keep on track, helps me stay less stressed, and helps me show my progress a bit better. Whereas previously, I wouldn't really work on a project until the last week or two, and then cram 70, 80, 90, 100 hour weeks getting it done. I've had times where I've stayed up for 35, 40 hours straight, just working on the same project, and it's just not sustainable. It's so draining. So I'm really appreciating this new way of working, and it's a big change, and it's taken a lot to get adjusted to. But I'm still managing to keep consistent, and I'm constantly making progress. So even if this week I'm a little bit under where I wanted to be, it's still way further ahead than I would have been if I still used the same routine I had before. Anyway, let's get back to it. And something that is different from last week is I added the first puzzle back in. Again, there's not as many assets as I would have liked, so the numbers are still very clear and easy to see when they should be more hidden in the final game. But I think it's just nice to have this first puzzle in and give myself a nice starting point for when I'm doing stuff. I'll speed this puzzle up because I explained how it worked in the week 0 video. Basically, you just match the colour of the number to the colour on the keypad, and then we could type in 1708 and open the door into the hallway. The hallway is pretty much the same as it was last week with the flower puzzle and such, but differences do start to be seen when you get to the bathrooms. Here we can see actual sinks and toilet stalls. I feel like they look a little bit out of place, but I don't know if that's just because none of the wall materials and assets are in yet. Maybe when it stops being grey box, they might look a little bit better. And as we can see on the doors, some of them have little notes saying out of service. We can go into the other bathroom straight across, but first look at this little table, a set of headphones and post-it notes. Post-it note with a cherry and a set of 5 monitors on it. I wonder why that's important, we'll look later. In the second bathroom, more the same, out of service notes on stalls. Another pair of headphones next to the pink flower. And then more sinks as you leave. Now, we can make our way down to the head office where there are a few more noticeable differences. Firstly, there's a proper desk asset in here now, and there's a few more things filling up these shelves and tables. We've still got the flower from before. A little teddy bear, which will be important later. Another post-it note, this time with a strawberry on it. And also this desk has drawers that can open. These were weirdly annoying to get working. I thought it'd be really simple, but they work, and it's fine, so I'm happy with it. Over here, another set of these headphones. That's 3 headphones we've seen now. Now we can make our way back to the computer room because we've seen all the flowers and therefore know the answer to this code. We can type the code 5814, and this computer room is by far the room that saw the most work this week. It looks very different to what it did last week. So the first thing that catches our eye is this big whiteboard with another post-it note on it, this time with a pear, with a big red drawing, and another one of these little teddy bears as well. But when we turn around, we see all these monitors we can have a look at as well, where we find another post-it note, this one with a picture of banana on it, and we can interact with these monitors and change them to different colours. And now we know that these 5 monitors we've been seeing on the post-it notes are here, and they represent the colour of each fruit. So we can see the second monitor there should be the colour of banana, which is yellow. Now there's this big TV behind these monitors that we can go over and interact with, but it tells us we need to complete the monitor puzzles before we get a code from this TV. So now we know we need to look back at all those post-it notes to figure out which colour goes where. So if we go back to this board, we saw that there was a pair post-it note, which will be green. And there are these monitors as well, which basically there is a picture of an object for that monitor. So there's a bear, a sink, a pair of headphones, and you must put how many of that object are present within the level. So how many headphones, how many bears, how many sinks. But obviously we're going back to the colour one first. So we know pear is green, and that was in the 3rd spot, so we can put it as green there. And now we're going to go back through the level and look for all the post-it notes and match them to their colour. So I pointed this one out earlier, but we do have the cherry in the first monitor slot, so that will be red at the first monitor. But one you didn't notice was in here with all the out of service notes. There's actually a hidden one here with an orange in the 4th slot. So we know that the 4th monitor slot will be the colour orange. And then we can make our way down to the head office again to find the last post-it note, which is a strawberry in the 5th slot. So we know that the last one's red, the 4th one's orange, and the first one's red. And we already have the other 2 put in there, so that's all of the monitors we need. So we can fill out the right colours, and I will make it make a sort of ding correct sound when you get it correct. But for now, once you get it right, it stops you from being able to interact with them. But I would like to pause here really quickly, because these monitors were so annoying. Makes 0 sense. I don't understand it. Like, it says hello, which means it's gone through this. It set it as true. You can see it there. It's being set as true. It's gone through that set. It doesn't see it as false either. So I don't get it. It sees it as nothing. It's really confusing. Schrodinger's Boolean, bro. It's not seen as true or false. I don't understand it. I don't understand. Why it's so frustrating. I've looked through so many different things, so many forum posts and blogs and explanations on how things could work, and none of them, it just doesn't work. I don't understand it. None of it works. I've tried integers, floats, booleans, everything, and none of it works. These monitors were nearly the death of me. I was so determined, so driven to get these working all within the same blueprint. I'm a game designer and a fucking good one. I'm gonna make this work. We are there. I know it's not the most efficient thing. I took the lazy, easy, and I know for a fact suboptimal way out, and I made 5 different monitor blueprints. I did not make it work. It was just one of those things where stuff was going wrong and I just had no idea why. I looked at it all looked fine, it all looked like it should work, but it just didn't. So after about 5 or 6 hours of working on it non-stop, I just caved and accepted my defeat. And it was a very stressful Wednesday, I'll be real. Okay, let's get back to showing off the actual game. So now that we've done the coloured monitors, we can move over to the second set with the numbers and the objects. We will start off with the first monitor here out of all these 5. So here's the first one with a picture of a headphones in front of it. And here I realised I forgot to add one of the headphone assets into the actual world, so I had to go change that really quick. Okay, we're back, and we've actually got all the headphone assets in now. So if we go back to this drawing from earlier, it actually shows the player how to do this puzzle. I thought it might have been a little bit tricky without any direction on what to do. So it shows the player that with a monitor and the picture next to the monitor, they've got to look through the map and find all these objects. So it actually does give the player the solution for the first one. Hopefully the player realizes that this little bit at the top is the map of the floor they're on, and that way they can follow it and find the objects and understand a bit better how the puzzle works. So if we look at the room we're in, we can see a cross circled, and if we go look, we can find the pair of headphones that was definitely always there. And now we can go look through the rest of the map at all the other crosses and see if there's a pair of headphones there too. Now, I pointed out where all the other sets of headphones are when I went through the map the first time, so we know that there is one in the bathroom, one in the hallway, and one in the main office. So that'll give us 4 in total. So when we get back to the monitor, we can put 4 in and we know it's right. The next monitor wants to know how many sinks there are, and we know that they're most likely going to be in the 2 sets of bathrooms. So we can go into the first one, see that there is 1, 2, 3 sinks. And then we can go into the other one, and once again see there is 1, 2, and 3 sinks. That gives us 6 in total. So when we get back to that monitor, we can put in 6. We know that's right as well. Now, the last monitor that I have set up has a photo of a teddy bear. And like with the headphones, I pointed out where they are on the map already, so I'll quickly just go through them. There's one on this whiteboard right here, and then one all the way down inside the head office. We take a little detour to look around the bathrooms again, just to make sure there's not a secret little hidden teddy bear that we've missed, but there's not, so we're good. So we know there's going to be 2 teddy bears, and we can put that in to the third monitor. Now, the last 2 monitors I've not done a puzzle for yet, so they're just rocking a little basic test code that I can put in, and like with the colour ones, once this has been completed, the player can no longer interact with them. But if they come over to this big TV, they can now see a little Morse code message. Now, from that right now, that means nothing. I've not got that incorporated into the gameplay yet, but that will be the next thing I do. And outside of this, the rest of the game is still untouched. So I'll just go straight into what my goals for next week are going to be. Now, my goals are pretty much going to be the same ones I set last week. Finish all the puzzles. I think I'm pretty close to getting this done now, and it'll be a big step forward. And I also still want to get more assets in. Get these grey boxes out of the way, man. I need to see what this game's going to look like properly when it's finished, and that's my goal for next week. But with all that said, that's me done for today. We'll see where I am next week, and goodbye.